Time for the International Paper Review now. Florence with us here. And a lot of the papers focusing on Greece. Of course, demonstrations flaring up across the country there. Trade unions calling a big strike to protest about the government's austerity measures there.
That's right. It's on the front page of Ketimerini today, the right-wing newspaper that says that the country was paralyzed by this 24-hour strike. It's also getting a lot of attention in the international press today. Here on the cover of the International Herald Tribune, you see clashes in Athens, and you see a very striking photo there of the violent protests. It's also on the cover of The Guardian, the Greek crisis, the temperature rises, says The Guardian, and there's also a striking photo of a firebomb exploding behind a riot officer in the Greek capital.
Okay, well, it's not just Greece, it's Spain as well, of course, violent protests there. A lot of papers reacting to that, 64 people injured.
That's right. There's an interesting piece by Giles Tremlett in The Guardian that says that this time it's really serious. And he says that the violence on Tuesday is proof that Spain's long-running crisis has definitely spilled beyond everyday politics and economics. He says that Tuesday's violence reflected two things. First of all, the fact that the protests are becoming very radical in Spain. It's a very far cry from the very peaceful Indignados movement that inspired the Occupy movement in the U.S. and the U.K. And the second thing that was very clear on Tuesday is that there's a hardening of the government's reaction to the protests. And on top of all this, what Spain is having to deal with is Catalonia that's pressing for independence. And according to this article, the very shape of modern Spain is being questioned right now. And all this is weighing very heavily on the Prime Minister's shoulders. Mariano Rajoy today, he's going to present yet another austerity budget, this time for 2013. And this is designed to prepare Spain for an eventual bailout from fellow Eurozone countries. And according to The Guardian, it calls Spain the most ardently Euro-enthusiastic country in Europe. And the EU leaders should keep this in mind when they fix the harsh bailout conditions for Spain.
Okay, well, let's move on to something totally different now. This is in the US. It's an Egyptian-American journalist who's been arrested for spray painting an anti-jihad subway poster.
That's right. Her name is Mona El Tahawi, and you might remember her from the Arab Spring. She was reporting from Tahrir Square, and she was actually arrested then, and allegedly both arms were fractured during that event. Now, she's been arrested in New York City for spray painting a very controversial anti-jihad subway poster that was produced by the American Freedom Defense Initiative. Here you see a video that the New York Post captured of her spray painting over this. Now, the poster reads, "In any war between the civilized man and the savage, support the civilized man, support Israel, defeat jihad." Now, while she was arrested, she was saying, "This is a nonviolent protest. I'm an Egyptian American and I refuse hate." Now, perhaps earlier you saw that another person was trying to block her from spray painting this poster. That's a woman named Pamela Hall. She's the president of the Stop the Islamization of America. So quite a different point of view.
Yeah.
And she says that she's going to sue El Tahawi.
Okay, it was amazing to see the actual images of it actually happening as well, isn't it? Now we're going to go to Uganda, the rise of a young politician drawing attention in the international press there.
That's right. This is in The Guardian. Now, she's Africa's youngest MP. She's 20 years old. Her name is Proscovia Oromite. And she tells The Guardian that she wants to fight for her nation and fight against corruption. Now, she's far from being an anti-establishment figure. Her father was an MP. He died in July, and she decided to run for his vacant seat. Now, The Guardian wonders whether she's a role model or whether this is a sign of decadence. On the one hand, it's important to remember that 45% of the Ugandan population is under 25. But on the other hand, she's very close to the president, and her people in the opposition say that what they see in her is the rise in juvenile politics, when what the country really needs is seasoned politicians.
And very briefly, another story out of Uganda.
That's right. This concerns David Cecil. He's a British producer who's fighting to stay out of jail in Kampala because he put on a play about homosexuality. And of course, Uganda, homosexual acts are illegal. Now, he says that he's not there to promote gay rights. He just wanted to see an interesting play, but he could face 2 years in jail.
Okay, lots of Ugandan stories today in the international papers from Florence. Thanks very much.